Welcome,
You say
Basement
my
Dwellers.
fucking intros are shit. Jesus fuck, man.
I just want to see how far we could go before
Sound like
you two
his
got
voice was
fed
loading.
up with it. We went a little while. But yeah, you're stuck again, once again, for another episode with Brady, your anime guy.
Or not,
Jace,
you could just
No,
switch
they can definitely just leave.
just leave. Don't worry
Jace,
about
your
it.
anime guy. He's not an anime guy. He's a gamer.
Anime guy.
And I realized what I found out in the last couple episodes is if I point that way, I'm pointing at you. But on my screen, that's not correct. That's nothing but blankness. So, Jace the gamer, but down where he's supposed to be, we've got our dice rolling DM.
Was that
Thank you guys for joining
innuendo?
us.
That was innuendo.
was.
Yeah. What them lips do.
Absolutely. So we've all been up to some kind of exciting shit lately. So we're going to talk about that. But Jace, because I know you've sat there frustrated with enough queues waiting to be allowed into your thing, let's jump straight on into you.
That was like the fucking worst segue.
I was like,
I know you were really trying, but it was awful.
he really
Anyway.
did try to string together some English there, but
It's never been my
they were
strong suit,
words.
let's be real.
Yeah,
they were words that were in English.
yeah, that's about all you can expect from Brady. But yeah, Overwatch. Been playing a fair bit of Overwatch too.
As
First day,
expected.
it was a bit rough early. Servers had a lot of issues. They claimed it was a distributed denial of service, but I doubt that very much. But basically, you would be queued behind about 30 to 40,000 other people. And depending on your luck, it took 2 minutes to get in behind those 40,000, or it could take like an hour to get behind 3. It made no fucking sense. The queuing was weird. And yeah, for the first few days, it was a bit bums on the servers.
Only a few days though.
Yeah. By now, most of it's fine. The biggest issue we're having at the moment is they keep dumping Australians on Singapore servers, which means we've got 100 ping, which basically means it is a second between when you shoot someone and when it is registered with the server.
Jeez.
So that could mean, depending on the hero you choose, whether you've shot them or you're fucking dead. Like, it can be a big difference. And sometimes you have to, pick heroes
just
accordingly.
For my small gaming knowledge, I remember Call of Duty back in the day, they had a few problems with people because the system would give like benefit of the doubt to the laggier internet person.
Yeah,
some
so
people
they're
were
intentionally running a shittier
lag
bandwidth.
switch.
a heap of shit on the back and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you can do a thing called lag switching with a lot of those sorts of platforms. The unfortunate thing is, Call of Duty have never fixed their issues with interpolation. So it's a way of handling the way lost packets and bad ping are handled. Instead, it just gives raw data. So that's why when someone on bad ping in like Modern Warfare will just blink all over the map and all of a sudden just kill you. Whereas for you, you've got no chance. Everything else is smooth except this one person blinking all over the place. And yeah, they've just never fixed it. Whereas Overwatch has always been really good on that front, but still that time difference can be, a game changer depending on how you're playing. And because I'm already jumping into competitive queues, that can be a big fucking problem.
Yeah, that a second in those sort of games is fuck. It's the difference between were you hiding behind the wall waiting for them to come out and shoot them, or were you already out?
Yeah,
that's-
that's exactly it, and that's life or death, and that could be a fight in an entire match, won or lost. So that is a really annoying thing, and there's currently no way to avoid it. Otherwise, though, it's a breath of fresh air. It's good to play Overwatch in a new fashion with one less tank, and pretty much all my Overwatch friends have come back to the game, so we've constantly got 5 stacks going and, stuff like that. So we just play.
Are all the
have heaps
maps
of fun.
different, or did they keep some classic maps in there as well? Or
They kept all the old maps,
right?
and then they've released new maps, and some of the old maps they redid. And by redid, I mean they put like a few new objects and stuff to block off areas, and some of them they night shifted. So like the nighttime ones went to day, and day ones went to night, and stuff like that.
Keep it
Black
interesting.
Ops, again, Call of Duty, because my only reference for a lot of that sort of style of gameplay. They did that a lot. Black Ops games, like
they redid the
Nuketown.
Nuketown, pretty much every
Quite a
single
few
game came out
times.
with Nuketown.
And then Hijacked, that was a big favorite. That used to be a boat, I think, in
Yeah,
Black Ops 2.
yep.
And then it was a gigantic drone type thing in Black Ops 3 or 4. I don't remember which.
Nuketown was a really fun map, I've got to say, as far as like a multiplayer map
Everybody
goes.
loved it. I loved it.
It just worked, and like you could
Creepy
yeet a
mannequin
grenade from
thing.
start and just by a chance just kill a bunch of them all at once, and it was just it was real tight.
I used
It
to
was
love
really intense.
Sticks and Stones. Did you ever play it?
No.
Black Ops 2 had a game mode, Sticks and Stones. Axe, throwing dagger, and crossbow. That's all you were allowed. So you'd load in and then immediately yeet an axe up. Because there's a good chance it's coming down on someone.
Yeah, odds are high. That's
Sticks
cool.
and Stones was really funny. But the Nuketown map, did you guys do the like weird mannequin thing?
No, I barely ever played Nuketown because Nuketown was
So-
nearly always like additional content. And I'm a person that thinks that if I just paid $80 for a fucking Call of Duty game that's the same as the last one that I bought, I'm not paying for fucking additional content when it's an
No.
old map that was from 6 fucking games ago.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm
no,
saying.
agreed,
Totally
agreed.
fair
I've
enough.
never paid extra for that map. I think once it came with the game when I
Yeah.
bought it because it
Did
was
you
like,
buy it
Yeah,
later
I think
now?
I got
No,
it
it
with
was like
COD
a-
Blops 4.
yeah, it was like a, oh, here it is, and if you get it on day release, you get this map with it, and I didn't get it on day release. I just got the
Yeah,
fucking
that's
map anyway.
the
so-
only way I've ever played it. I've never paid for DLC on a fucking
Nah.
Call of Duty game.
Nah.
But the mannequin thing on Nuketown, I think it was in 2. If you shot off all the arms of the mannequins, they would chase you.
Oh, that's sick.
Interesting.
Like fucking
Yeah, that was bad.
Doctor Who.
What was worse, wait, that's a good reference. If you shot off both their arms and their head, they would do the angel thing, the weeping angel thing from Doctor
Oh,
Who,
nice.
where
Oh,
you're looking at
sick.
them,
So you turn
they
it.
would
Oh, damn.
freeze. So like the coolest thing you could do is like find a corner and sprint at it and then turn around and you'd see like all these things being like, because you'd shoot off all their heads and their arms, but they get them back for the like new scenario that
For
had
the
been
thing.
created. So if
That's
you could
sick.
like run to a corner, they'd be like
You turn around, there's just a fucking like an army of
rows
That's so
mannequins.
fucking
all-
and
good.
you're like and like yeet away. So if you're watching us now, and the next thing you gotta do is just Google people doing the weird mannequin thing on Call of Duty, because
Or just watch Doctor Who because
Yeah.
the Weeping Angels episodes.
beats the
mwah.
shit out of
Oh,
it. Oh,
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's so fucking cool.
absolute perfection of
Yep.
I loved that.
So
That was
so wait,
terrible.
have I just figured out that you guys are Doctor Who fans as well?
I believe so.
I'm a boring normie Doctor Who fan. I watched a fair bit of David Tennant.
Ah,
I don't know which one's which, and I don't know where I started and where I've ended. So I need to begin again, but I do enjoy Doctor Who.
oh,
I do
man.
like
So
it.
yeah,
I do
I'm
like it. I
down.
just
I'm down for
never
watching all of
got-
them.
Yeah.
I've been lost as to where I even began at it.
Okay, so I've actually started rewatching it recently. So I've seen from like episode 1 back in 1965.
Jesus.
And so the best place to start for anyone new coming into Doctor Who, start with 2005 with Chris Eccleston, because that's when they rebooted the series, because they dropped it off in the mid 90s or something like that. Series died off. Then they rebooted it. Then Chris Eccleston, then David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, and just went on from there. But yeah, start from the 2005 stuff onwards. It's fucking fantastic, and Doctor Who is amazing. That is
Yes, I agree.
Cool.
I agree.
No, it's cool. It is
really
great.
cool stories in it.
It's one of those ones I've always looked at and been like, I wish I'd given that more time, and then something else happens in the night and I forget to watch it.
Yeah,
But
you're an idiot. Absolute idiot.
We do
I get
that.
Yeah.
Is there more Overwatch 2 stuff? You got anything else
It is a very fun game, that is all.
Yeah, cool.
So Doctor Who and Overwatch 2. Get onto it.
Jace's advice of the week. You're welcome.
Yes, correct. And now I hear whisperings that Brady's been doing some weeb shit.
Big
Yes.
surprise.
By whisperings,
Yeah.
we mean Brady won't stop talking about his weep shit.
Yeah, I know.
On
But
to
at
you,
least
Brady.
it's not Attack on Titan.
This is true. Because who knows when that's going to end.
When final season Zeta Part B X5.
Fuck, I want
XL.
you to stop talking about it already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no.
When that ends, then I'll be done. No. So I stayed up last week after our episode. I did my best. I fell asleep, and then my son woke me up, as he does, half an hour early.
Daddy, need to wake
Pretty much.
It's
yeah,
bleach time.
100%. So in Australia, we had like a weird thing where Disney is dumb and doesn't realize we have multiple time zones. So even though there was a global release, I did not get it. I got it half an hour late, which is really annoying because I was.
Oh,
Sons of
yeah,
bitches. Half an
that's
hour.
gotta be terrible. Like, what are you gonna
Half
do?
an hour is
Oh,
not
That's
the
like
worst.
that's enough
And-
time to have
okay.
16 wanks.
Or one long shit.
Or
Okay.
both.
Half an hour is not bad unless it's 2 in the fucking morning.
call it
and
a
you have to be
shank.
up at 6. Then it's bad. And I will not do this for every episode. Obviously tonight I'm just gonna watch that shit tomorrow. But for a show that's been off the air for I think a little over 10 years, I wanted to watch the first one and have a bit of fun with it. Like, right? Like, this is my thing. I talk about it on the internet every week. Let's fucking do this. I liked Bleach. I watched it. Didn't disappoint. I don't have a lot to say. It was fucking awesome. It was a good first episode. The animation is good. Not much CGI in sight. A little bit on some stuff moving in the background. Most stuff normal.
So just
awesome.
for anyone who doesn't know a lot about Bleach, is this the final season of Bleach?
It will be, yeah. So
Okay.
the
And
manga
how long has
did
it been since the
finish.
last episode of Bleach?
that's
Since
a-
this
I
one?
wasn't
How big
kidding,
of a
like
gap?
10 odd
Yeah,
years.
literal
Yeah,
10
right.
years.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I
So
thought you were just
what
being all
happened
fucking,
was-
Brady
no.
anime and being like,
No, no,
it's
no,
been
they-
like 10 billion years.
No, they got to the last arc of the entire story and then didn't animate it.
Fuck.
Yeah. So that Bleach, I think, is what made me start reading manga because I was like, what the fuck? And then picked up Tokyo Ghoul for the same reason because that was a shit show. But yeah, I picked it up back then. So now 10 years in the making, I get to watch this. So yeah, I got up and my kid watched it with me. So that was kind of cool. It was great. It was fucking amazing. The animation was good. Voice acting was perfect. Disney, get your shit together with time zones for fuck's sake.
Nah, this really serves you right for like following Disney in any way, shape, or form.
Didn't want to. They got the international streaming rights. Unless I go piratey, this is what I got.
Yar.
Gear all the way. Gear.
Aside from that, because I don't have much to say on that. Keep watching it, guys. I don't want to spoil it because I read the manga. So if you are watching it, keep going. They're doing it justice.
So it's staying true to
kind
the
of-
manga. It's
Yeah, it
doing all the things you
absolutely
hoped
is.
it
The-
would. You're fanboying out. Yeah, sick.
Pretty much, the pacing's perfect. The quality is amazing. In some ways, it's kind of cool to have that delay because the animation quality has gotten that much better in the last 10 years. So
True.
it is kind of worth it.
I mean, I guess 10 years ago you would have been like, "This is fucked. It ain't worth it."
Sometimes, like if you watched, so Jace only recently did this. If you watch the first episode of Bleach compared to the last episode, those things are night and day apart.
This is why it's taking me so long to watch Bleach because I'm like maybe 20 episodes in. And I'm like, it's so fucking jank and just like,
it gets better pretty quickly. I
gets
think it's
better,
only
yeah.
like the next season after the first one. It's like, oh, that's a way better upgrade. Then
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
end,
yeah.
it's really
Pretty much.
nice.
Yeah, I didn't think it really changed much after they got to Waco Mundo. I didn't think the visuals
No, it
really
stayed
changed a
pretty
whole
good
lot.
from there. Yeah. So yeah, not much to say, to be honest. I enjoyed staying up. It was great. It was worth it. Watch it if you're a Bleach fan. If you're not, From what I gather, Disney get the streaming rights from the 26th, way after this episode has aired. So they get the rest of the show because they only have the rights currently to the newest season. But
Wow.
from what I
So
gather,
Disney
they
are
get
really reaching out now and starting to get into the anime scene as well.
Disney
Clever.
just want to take over the world, as far as I can tell.
And they're most likely
That aside,
will.
I watched Chainsaw Man. I have a little bit more to say on that because I already had said that it's not the best work by that artist. Jace and I went on a big talk about Fire Punch, which I'm still reading. Fire Punch is far better IP than Chainsaw Man as far as I'm concerned. It's just a better story. Chainsaw Man, still reading the manga as well. It's not great. It's fine. I'm just reading it to catch up, keep up, that sort of thing. As an anime though, the trailers looked lit. It looked fucking awesome. And as a series, there's a lot of gore. Jace, you'll enjoy it once it's done, I'll let you know. But the heavy use of CGI hurts it for me quite a bit. And I know I'm an old school anime fan by saying that, but like it feels like watching the new version of like fucking Bananas in Pajamas or like the Thomas Tank Engine ones with that sort of CGI, because it didn't really do it too heavily until the main action scene, which is what we were all waiting for in the first episode because it's a shonen and that's what we're fucking waiting for. It gets to it, he breaks out the chainsaws, and it's all moving as if I'm playing a game from PS2. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, you were doing so well, why? I don't mind CGI.
I'm gonna
in
watch
anime
it just to
when
see
it's
if like it's not a you bias or if it's like a actually
it could be
annoying
both,
bias,
and
you
I
know,
don't
like-
disagree with that. Like it definitely could be both, but I just don't like watching it when it's the main thing. So I don't mind seeing an anime like Spy Family, which is a completely different genre and all that. I get that, but all the cars are always CGI. I don't care at all. They're not a main point of focus. They just are moving about. You can see that they're obviously drawn different, or that they're animated differently to everything, but I don't care. There are a few animes.
Have you ever seen Appleseed?
I have. Isn't that entirely CGI though?
Yes, but it's done in that like CGI, but it's very clearly like an anime type aesthetic, but it's all
That's
in
what
3D
they've done.
CGI.
That's what they've done, but it catches you off guard because it doesn't look as obvious throughout most of the episode, and then it's very obvious in the action scene, which hurt it for me.
Yeah, it sounds like a you problem, to be honest.
We'll see.
It could be.
We'll see.
But like, that was my only complaint. The voice acting was fine. The pace was good. It was all fine. I still think that this anime, for reasons I don't fully understand, has been hyped up all year. Like, it's pretty nuts. It is consistently talked about in the anime community, and I was like, have you read his other stuff? Because Fire Punch is pretty fucking awesome.
I think the big problem though is, okay, if you just walked into my office, because I definitely have an office and I don't just work out of this lounge room. If you walked in and said, all right, we've got two choices to make an anime.
Yeah, just
We've
hold
got
up
Fire
pictures.
Punch or Chainsaw Man. I'm going Chainsaw Man. That sounds fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Even though Fire Punch is actually infinitely more brutal.
And also, like, the word punch is in, it's in One Punch Man, and the whole thing kind of screams that typical, like, to me, because I don't know anything about either one, really. Fire Punch just sounds a whole lot like One Punch Man meets, like, that fucking One Piece. Like, it just sounds similar to those. And I'm like, eh. I think that's where they've gone about it. Like, they've just gone weird, and weird sells well at the moment, I think.
And
Well,
look, there
I
are
think
some-
that's it. Like, you got to think that people who pick this up and the popularity of the manga is going to be based on the name and the cover art and stuff.
Yeah.
Fire
They're trying to
Punch
be
doesn't
unique.
inherently look as fucked up as it actually is.
It
once you
doesn't.
pull the
You're
cover off.
100% correct. And
Yeah.
and because the writer has done some sort of censoring, so I'm guessing he essentially didn't want to draw like men genitals in every fucking panel, but this guy, because he's literally on fire the whole time, like, he doesn't have clothes, so we often just get like this much up and it's just like mostly him on fire. So maybe that would be much harder to market as an anime. So I
Damn,
do
you'd
get
get
it.
sick as as one of their animators, just drawing fire all the fucking time. Just
Yeah,
every,
as opposed
every
to drawing
page,
dicks on every
fire.
page.
Every
Actually,
page
no.
is more fire. Ugh.
You can get real creative with drawing flailing dicks on every page, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you get
can
like the
just
full
pick up any
helicopter sleigh.
14-year-old's fucking school book and go to the corners and be like, oh, here's a manga. It's fine.
Yeah, but like
yeah,
he starts jumping through the air and just trailing by.
Doesn't sound like... Oh, fuck.
I love the sound effect.
Chainsaw Man, it definitely has a better... I can see you aren't wrong, like, if you're going to pick up either, but he also wrote Goodbye Eerie, or however you want to, which I think I spoke about on this show before, that it was a one-shot. It's like 200 pages.
Yeah, it sounds like some loser shit. Yeah, I've spoken about it.
Is it like a super emotional one? It's about a kid making movies.
Yeah, sounds
First one he makes is about his mum's death. It's like it was a heart-wrenching fucking story, and it was well written, and there was nothing supernatural in that. It's just odd to see this story get picked up, and then the trailers looked really hype. They looked really beautifully animated, and then I saw that in the first episode. So it was a slight letdown for me, because Bleach did the opposite, where we saw the trailers and we were like, fuck, man. And like each of them were different. Like we spoke about the one that seemed Tarantino-y. The first episode kind of plays out that way a little bit as well. They're not fucking around with it. It's really cool.
But what you've also got to remember is that Bleach has an established aesthetic.
Yes.
Whereas Chainsaw Man is its first animated portrayal. So
100%.
Yeah, you think
What
about
you've
the first
also
time
got
you
to
watched Bleach, and you know its world's setting and all the rest of it. Like these guys are trying to make their own world right this minute.
Yeah.
And trying to build something
exactly.
from
And
nothing.
so they're creating their own aesthetic. So
yeah, they're also building, and they're fighting against every other anime that's out there. Whereas Bleach was only fighting against every other anime that was out there, 30 years ago.
I think it's
It wasn't
number
that
one
much.
trending on Twitter for like 2 days, number one trending on YouTube for a couple days. It's not fighting that hard. It just has the reins. There's like, back in the day, it was for the anime OG shonen fans. We're a little bit later than some fans who none of them will be watching this. But anyway, there was Dragon Ball, Bleach, Naruto. Like that was the thing. And then
One Punch. Oh, One Piece, sorry. Yeah.
One Piece came along as Dragon Ball was kind of leaving the scene. So then it was those three were sort of holding it up. There's a shitload of meme pictures you can see of like Goku patting all their heads. It's a fucking weird thing. I don't understand some anime fans, but Bleach, you're not wrong. Has an established world. They don't have to fuck around with any of that. That's actually one of my compliments to that first episode, is that our main characters are all portrayed as being almost OP at this point. Because they should be. They've been through 366 episodes already. The first things they encounter in this episode are your basic run-of-the-mill baddies, and they shit on them, but it makes for a very cool hype scene. And then they continue along with that theme as it goes. Yeah, that gets a big thumbs up. Chainsaw Man for me sits fucking mid-tier right now. I'm hoping it boosts up. What have you been up to, Justin? Because funnily enough, we both know, and after this episode airs, everyone's participated.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
everyone
weird, hey?
who's watched this episode.
Or if they didn't, they're a fucking loser.
Yeah. They'll probably have subbed after they've played it, and then they watch this, and then they watch us telling them they're all losers, and then they unsub. So right now it's 2 weeks before Eden Brewery's big one shot that we're planning. So we're doing a local brewery one shot where we're bringing a theme that is about a brewery to a brewery and playing D&D there. Where we're going to have 6 tables set up. So far, we've almost sold all the tickets. By the time this airs, we will have sold all the tickets and we will have done it. So. I believe
Halloween?
so.
It's a Halloween
it'll be
crossover too?
it'll be a bit of a Halloween crossover / the Eden Brewery themed crossover. So Eden Brewery are all about like trees and stuff. So there's going to be a bit of that in there. There's going to be some beer games. There's going to be some brewing happening inside of the campaign as well. And yeah, all within like 3 to 4 hours. So pretty filled in the time frames. I've just been printing like a madman. I think I've printed 75 minis so far at least, and I've just got a base coat on all of those so far, and I've made one particularly big boy that I'll probably release a short vid or something on later down the track. So
Doesn't matter.
Brady,
it's on
show a
screen
picture.
now.
Boom.
Got him.
Yeah. So as you can see, fucking huge. I could have just sat him here right with me. He'd be just
that's
bigger than my
stupid.
fucking head.
No, we'll do it with the fully painted version. That's going to look amazing.
True. Yeah, he's unpainted right now. So, yeah, Stress City is me. Getting all that ready in the next week or so. So that has been pretty much taking up most of my time. Did have some time, though, to go to Adelaide for like 5 days. So I did that.
Just quietly. Just go to the most boring place in Australia. But what did you find there?
I found a D&D cafe, and it was awesome, but I was way too drunk to be able to like sling a sentence together properly. So, yeah,
Justin,
we'll throw the picture in
drinking?
now of the front. Yeah, I know, right? I don't even do this often, which is why I was pretty sloshed. So this is the picture of the
so ashamed
the
of
cafe.
you. How dare you abuse
Bam.
alcohol?
There's the picture of the cafe. Thank you, Brady, for editing that in. And so I was 1.5 liters of beer in from a German settlement nearby. And then I went walking down the street and stumbled upon this massive D20. And I was like, what the fuck? So I go stumbling in there. I'm like, hey, what's going on here, guys? You got some D&Ds. And like, I was fucked. And you could tell, like, just the look on their face was just like, please get out of here, drunk person. So I left pretty quickly.
You raised
but
your sword.
I raised my sword and I left before I like threw up on their floor. But I got a good chance to have a look around. I wasn't that drunk that I couldn't remember it. It was a pretty cool setup. So it was a 3-storied place, maybe even more. I don't know if there was even more floors above that. The bottom floor was like casual gamers just playing like Cards Against Humanity and just regular tabletop
disgusting
stuff,
casuals.
like just dumb shit. Like, yeah, you just your normies. But that was where the storefront was as well. So they actually had a shitload of D&D stuff in there. So if you get a chance, if you're in Adelaide or if you're from Adelaide and you didn't know about this place, I don't know how you don't, but it's amazing. They were also doing something a little bit more unique and pretty ballsy, I'd say. They had open board games and pieces individually for sale. And I've never seen this before, because I feel like they just wouldn't want to have to split a board game up so much, but they must just have so many board games lying about. Maybe they've lost pieces themselves because the next floor up has something like that happening. So maybe they've just lost pieces and they're just selling the rest of the board game, but they had individual pieces of board games for sale, which was really impressive. So if you're missing one single piece out of a board game, like, you know, Castle Ravenloft behind my head there, you could get that piece and replace it. And they're probably, they've probably marked it up a little bit. It might cost you $5, but it's still better than not having that one piece. It's
Still
nothing more frustrating.
for the new game set, like.
Well, exactly, yeah. So it was pretty impressive to see that. Then I went upstairs to the next level, and that was more of I think there was a coffee machine there, and there was a bunch of alcohols, and they also had about 50 board games on a shelf. This is when I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like looking around, there's people playing board games everywhere, like mostly tabletop stuff. No D&D, just like all like big tabletop stuff. So like your Catan and like some old like strategy style tabletops. I think I was like smelling of booze though, so I think people just kind of like didn't want me to be near them. So
I'm so happy this is your story and not mine, because if it was mine,
I was
everyone would
literally
be like,
had the hiccups.
Guys, you
I was
need
like
to
that drunk guy
deal with
doing
this guy.
hiccups. I was like, what's going on? Like, yeah, it was bad.
Fucking hell.
So then, yeah, I ran into someone who actually gave me the lowdown. And they were like, oh, you only pay like $8. You can play board games all day. Like, just $8 each. You come up here. You can order food from downstairs. You can get drinks from here. I'm like, holy fuck, this is awesome. And then apparently the next level up was the D&D level. And I was like, well, I'm not in any intelligent headspace to talk to individuals about D&D at all. So I'm fucking out. So then I fled. So but, yeah.
The moral of this story is Justin is the worst marketer for our YouTube channel, who should have been up there.
Oh,
hustling.
dude. And it was the last night as well. I was like, that is shit that I found this on my last night in this city. Like, I was so upset.
Like, it's Adelaide anyway. Like, we don't want those sort of people watching our channel.
It's also not going anywhere. Like, that
honestly,
place never
can't
changes.
knock it. Adelaide was fucking sick. It was
Shut up.
so much
Yeah.
cleaner.
This is the dude who mows his lawn 8 times
It was
a day
so
and
much
wears
cleaner than
sweaters.
Sydney.
Of course he likes fucking Adelaide.
Yeah,
It
they
was
probably had a
clean.
sweater superstore or some shit.
Look, the only
Fucking-
thing I can say is there were still a lot of crackies around. Like, a lot of crackies. Like,
Crackies.
Yeah,
That's
white
not
people.
a fucking term I've ever heard.
what?
Jesus.
Yeah, not white people. I mean, I mean crackheads. Shit.
I knew. You didn't have to.
I'm just going to elaborate, all right?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No,
So yeah,
that's
that
cool.
was impressive. That was awesome. And also Game Pass, I'm just saying, is still one of my favorite things in the world right now. They're still throwing out some pretty good titles for free all the time. Well, you know, as free as paying for a subscription is.
Just like how free Netflix is.
But like Chivalry 2 came out recently, and that's still like a $60 title, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to check that out soon. I've downloaded a couple of other games, but a lot of games coming out recently I've noticed on Game Pass are actually cloud gaming because they're only on the Series X, and I'm still on the old Xboner from 2013. So I can still play them, so which is fine. And my net is actually keeping up with it, and I'm not getting too many rendering or delays or anything like that. So it's
Wicked.
actually working pretty
Nice.
well.
Better than me a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, I could not imagine even attempting to play a game on cloud with your sort of bandwidth. But with mine, every now and then you'll be doing something and you'll just notice the entire screen will almost do like a load. It'll be like boop and render the entire thing really quickly. Like it'll go black and white and just go quickly flick through, and you'll be refreshed. But it'll be like within half a second, and there's no delay on the actual movement. Just the entire screen just goes. It does a quick
Have you ever
swipe.
done one of those games? I
Nah.
think the Pokemon Switch game did it, the Arceus one, where most of the game was you walking, and the game never showed a rendering issue whatsoever. But then in the end game, you got like flight or something that was considerably faster, and suddenly the
couldn't
game
keep
would
up
have.
with it. Jesus.
Well, the environment was there, but it was plain. And then it would take a second and then be
just
like,
have to
here's all
catch
your
up.
texture.
It used to happen
Yeah.
on Grand Theft Auto when you're flying
Oh,
a jet,
popping.
except you'd find a fucking tree and you'd explode, and you're like, what? Why? And then everything would render, and you're like in the middle of the city. You're like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Hot tip. This usually doesn't happen on good games on PC because you can turn up your viewing distance.
Yeah, but when you got a console, you've got, you're limited.
Yeah.
For a
and
filthy
I-
console gamer like us, this is where we're at.
Yeah, exactly. I did play another interesting title today. It was called Medieval Dynasty, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I don't know which is the proper.
Yeah.
And by proper,
which
I
one's
mean
the proper,
English.
like Australian/English. Yeah.
Yeah. Americans.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck those guys.
English.
Okay, so we've pissed off South Australia. We've pissed off America. I
What
think
else?
technically
What else
we
is
pissed
there?
off white people as well.
Yeah, I think so. By calling them crackies.
Anyway.
Best white man term ever. So Medieval Dynasty, it's a simple sort of a survival game, so it doesn't seem like it's going to be too hard to do the surviving, which is good for me because I hate trying to remember to eat and drink. I already forget to do that myself. Like,
Relatable. Yeah.
I feel so dehydrated right now. My level of water would be like on red. And it pretty much is always running that way in my actual life. So me thinking about that shit in a
Explains
game
the
frustrates
LEDs.
me. Yeah. that's
that's
my
his
water
health.
level meter. Starts to flash, you got to be concerned.
Yeah,
Like
all the
5
water I
seconds
get
before
is just in my coffee anyway.
death. Which is actually like dehydrating you. So
Oh,
you're
yeah,
actively
100%.
like less.
My dietitian was like, you know that you're not supposed to just drink coffee. Like, you need to actually hydrate yourself because the coffee's actually getting rid of all, like, the nutrients that the water puts in. I'm like, nah, it's fine.
I'm still alive, lady.
Yeah, don't kill me.
So Medieval Dynasty, very simple stuff so far. Like all I've done is chop some trees down, made the simple axe with a fucking rock attached to it.
Exhilarating.
Yeah, all of that stuff. But I made a house
Just bring us
very
the
quickly.
best games. Like fucking House Flipper.
The thing is though, like, hey, they're making a second one. Thank you very much. And
Yeah, that
it's going to
doesn't
be
mean it's
huge.
good.
It does. It was
mean it's
fucking
good.
massive. It blew up. Everyone loved that game so much.
Everyone? You're like the only person I've ever heard talk about it.
Y'all never played it though, have you? No.
Oh, so you and the 3 people on the Discord for it, constantly talking about it.
Wow. No, that was so yeah, this game though, really quick to build a house. So it only took me I played it for like 10 minutes, and within that time frame, I'd built all the tools I needed, or most of them, basic tools at least, and I built a house. And from there, you can make a full settlement and upgrade your shit. So I think it's actually I've got a long way to go in it, but you can get your basics set up pretty quick, which sometimes frustrates me on survival games where they're like, you've got to survive like 3 days with twigs because you can't even find a rock to like make your first tool to start cutting trees down. So like the first 2 or 3 days you're nibbling on fucking berries, and then they're like, oh, that one was poisonous. And then they're like, find water because you need a drink, so you got to sip water, and they're like, well, that one's actually been there for too long, so now you've got some sort of sickness from it. And you're like, oh, cool. And then they're like, you need to build a fire to stay warm through the night. And you're like, well, I guess I'll use all the twigs I've gathered all day. And then you build your fire to get through the night. And then the next day comes around and you've got it's like nothing left again. You're
plus
like,
+1 to
fuck.
strength, but you've got no materials.
You're like minus all
awesome.
materials, and you're still hungry in the morning. You're like, I'm worse off than I was a day ago. Like, and I spent
This
a whole
just
day
sounds like
playing
my
this.
real life.
Survival games are too close to real life. I'm not about it.
That's right.
But
This one's
hey,
not. So, yeah.
Everybody listening, please go subscribe.
No.
And on that note, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Good day, she says.